Greetings, Wanderer. I find you traipsing off into the alfalfa again. We're going to drop in for a next 72 hours portal report, and I want to dive into the deep end with this one. I got a lot coming in, actually, that I want to tap into and get some messaging around and explore this together. So it's really been on my mind how the last time we dropped in for a portal report, we had all the jokers, the elemental jokers come on through. We've had the Joker of Sky, we've had the Joker of Fire, we've had the Joker of Earth, but what was missing was the Joker of Water. And for some reason, it was making me think of a download I brought in. I found out it was exactly a year ago. I brought it in for the full moon in Virgo that went down in 2025. And it was a reading, a download I brought in for Pisces. And it was titled, "We Learn the Rope by Untying Its Knots." And it made me think of all this imagery that came in with nobody holding that rope. And it made me kind of look at it differently. It was like the Joker sort of winking at us through the arcane BS. Only I couldn't see it at the time. And then I was really intrigued. So I'm going to post a card for that particular download for you all to drop in with, because I feel like it's absolutely being activated now. And it might provide some clarification about where you should be looking for the clues that you're seeking. These clues are really significant because there's almost this sense that there's been a little miscalculation in the route to the North Node. It's just off by a hair. And I think of off by a hair, and it makes me think of hares like rabbits and that energy of fertility, but it's also kind of tricky too. It's also what starts us off on the hunt, and the hunt has become very symbolic for us around here of opening the road to achieve the stone of destiny. So there's a little clue coming in there, but I also think of hair, and I think of hair. Our antenna that we wear on our head that picks up quite a few signals, there's a lot that we can tap into there. It is an extension of our nervous system. So there's a lot that's transmitted there. And that's interesting too, because I brought up the nervous system on the fixed sign read, and we've been trying to figure out with the fixed sign energy that came in on that collected download, where we're looking at the transit of Saturn and Neptune in Aries, which is going to be with us for quite some time and does give us the ability to really test our alchemical chops. Can we root a dream in material reality? And I thought, this is really interesting, because that really came through that what was missing, what was really needed was the water, but perhaps the water is sort of bound up. The water is bound up in this knot. So it's almost like there's a dam in the waterway. There's a dam in the waterway. There's something that's impeding the flow. And so I thought, okay, now I need to dive into this, because when is this Pisces new moon coming in? The Pisces new moon is coming in the day after All Snakes Day, or some call it St. Patty's Day. And that's interesting too. That there can be a day shared by many, but radically different perspectives. So there might be something about this radically different perspectives in a storyline, or the way the story was rolling out for you a year ago may have quite a different plot twist in store than you're anticipating here. Something you will maybe see with that new moon in Pisces that comes in. Now, March 18th, the 18th, 18 makes me think of the moon. The moon in tarot, which is, of course, Pisces card. It's also an initiatory gateway. The moon does show us that we kind of have to go through the gateway without knowing quite what we'll find. There's a little bit of cloaked influence there where we're not quite sure what territory we're heading in because we've never been there before. That's what an initiation is all about. You're being initiated into a new kind of energy that you've never experienced. And so I feel there's something, though, about that knot, and something we only learn by following that rope that maybe led us to that hangman position, that rope that's been holding us up, so we can figure out how you untie the knot. And then it makes me think of all the reference we've had to the knot that has come in, the Gordian knot, and how Alexander the Great just kind of pulled out his sword and cut through it. He didn't want to solve the riddle, and yet the wisdom's in the riddle. Yeah, sure, you can take a shortcut, but you might be off a little bit in your trajectory with lining up with that path that does lead to the Stone of Destiny. And perhaps part of making it through the initiatory gateway is to be able to untie the knot. And so where is the knot? Where is the blockage? Where is the energy stored up? It might be stored up in our nervous system. You know, this coming in with the hair piece coming in, being an extension of our nervous system. It could be tied up in the roots, because the cover photo on that Pisces download said know the roots. So it could be something that's tied up in the roots. It could be something that's tied up that anchors to the south node, that's creating a little bit of oppositional force to be able to move up into the destiny, into the north node. You see, that's all destiny is. It's just the ability to transform fate, the hand you're dealt, into the stuff of your dreams. And that requires you being in correct energetic frequency here in order to root something in material reality. But if the water stores are bound up, there won't be what's needed to nurture the growth of the dream. You can call it in, but to secure it, right? To secure the field, there's a need to have what's needed to tend to the field, to till the field, to nurture the field, to water the field, to harvest the field. Little math in my head here. So 18 plus the month of March, that's 21. That's the world. And you add the world, break that down further, is 3, the Empress, right? 2026 is Wheel of Fortune, 10 energy, breaks down further to 1, 3 plus 1, 4. Emperor, Empress energy. But when you take the 18th and you add it to 2026, it's the Sun. So it's interesting to me because there's all these tarot archetypes coming through. We're moving through the mysteries of the moon. The mysteries of the moon are what lead us to the light. They're what lead us to the sun. It's also what's found underneath the light of the moon that will start to wax with that invigoration of the new energy in Pisces that will be the very thing that makes our garden grow. And in order for the garden to grow, well, it needs the fire, right? It needs the light of the sun to come in and bring that nurturing. And it's interesting to me because I had to know the Sabian symbol. I had to know the Sabian symbol for this Pisces new moon. What degree in Pisces is this moon coming in at? It's coming in at 28 degrees. So again, Wheel of Fortune messaging. Wheel of Fortune, you break that down further, it's also the magician. It's raising the wand to bring in the initiatory action, which I really am viewing as that house of Aries with Saturn and Neptune there. But there cannot be the transmutation. There can't be the alchemical moment of becoming until the fire merges with the water. So there's a real key there. So the Sabian symbol for Pisces 28 degrees is a fertile garden under the full moon. And it's really about recognizing when you have acquired enough to truly be considered a harvest, a feast, and having recognition of that and having gratitude for that. But it goes beyond that. There's a little bit of a cautionary tale that comes with the Sabian symbol, and it brings a lesson. And the lesson is that the success of the mage in mastering the material plane and securing abundance is measured in the ability to do so without becoming a slave to greed. And that brought in the Joker of Water energy. How are we nurturing our dream? How are we going about what we desire? Have we become gluttonous in that pursuit, or some way motivated by greed or the desire to take more than our share? Are we dealing with another who is operating this way? Desire is a key word here, something to hone into. What is the nature of the desire? And there's a way to take this energy to an exalted form, and it's to recognize, ironically, that to be of the world and to be a nobody is truly an initiatory path into mastery for the adept seeker. So those of you who have already been on the path of the alchemist and you've been transmuting your shadow into a source of light, and you've been doing the deep work, you know the roots, there's still something more to discover here. How do we expand into this energy through the journey of the Sabian symbols? Well, we do so with Virgo 3 degrees, energy of the Empress. And that Sabian symbol is 2 angels bringing protection. So this is an affirmation of higher personal power. And that recognition comes through feeling the presence of light beings around you, to recognize that you have transformed to an extent where on a frequency level, you're vibrating in a different way than you used to. What you're harmonizing with has merged more into the light. So this is being aware of the presence of those light beings. Perhaps those light beings are going to make themselves more known to you. They're going to start coming through, perhaps to help you get your timeline recalibrated, perhaps in helping you seek the clarity within you that's needed to understand how to unravel this knot without cutting through it hastily, because something is desired to be acquired. To do so can actually make you a slave to greed. See, people can view greed in many different ways. Usually they relate it to achieving monetary wealth or material things, but many people often negate how so often people are greedy, hungry for power. There's a recognition that currently your protection is in aligning with the presence of the light beings that are actually those in power, those forces of light that are warding you. And you can do so through invoking the strength of the angels as they want to work through you. It's a really potent Sabian symbol and means of expansion. So it's almost like I feel like a knot can also hold something in place. A knot is, to me, it's very reminiscent too of like a sailor's knot and the way it can anchor things down. And so maybe there's something we are holding on to too tightly. It could even be a perception we have of ourselves or a situation that's actually really keeping our energy anchored when it wants to expand. It wants to move into the light. And if we can resolve this and understand where the energy is bound up within us, whether it's bound up in a belief or bound up in an old story or bound up in the roots, or for some alchemists, bound up in working the roots in a working that was done, not work that was done, something that was tied that does need to be released. There's something very interesting there. And so I really wanted to dive into this energy. So I eagerly started jotting down notes. I opened up my book, and it turned out the page I opened to jot down my notes had 2 runes on it that I had written, ironically, about a year ago. And the runes are Laguz, which is very reminiscent of the water nature itself. It's really becoming the water. It is being in that harmonic flow with the water. You are the waterway. The waterway moves through you. It is the intuitive force, but it also is a deep connection to source that brings through what's needed to nurture the growth of the harvest. It also talks about what is spiraling into creation and being at the center of it all. When we look at the world tree, the Yggdrasil tree, at the roots of the tree, know your roots, this message coming through, there is a double spiral, and one of the spirals moves counterclockwise, and it unravels old forms, old manifestations, old forces of creation, so they can be cleansed away. And then the other half of the spiral brings in the new creation, what is meant to be nurtured there. And there's like this vision of you as Laguz being at the center point of that. But if you're a little off, it can disrupt that harmony of the flow of what's being dissolved and what is coming into form. And you see that can throw things off just a little bit here. So there's something about that. And if you're at the center of it, and I look at that double spiral image that's at the roots of the Yggdrasil tree, just bear with me. I am tapping into some weird ass mystical shit here. I know I'm going off on a tangent before I ever get to the cards, but I just have to stick with this. I have to stick with it when I'm in the steady stream of it. I don't want to knot up the energy. When you are in the center of it, if you envision yourself as the Laguz, and ironically, I also brought in a sort of symbolic rune. At the time, it was Isa I brought in the center point of the double spiral, right? But now it's Laguz, which means the thaw has come on. What was stagnant is ready to thaw because the fire is coming in. The fire of Aries is merging with Neptune, the water. So the great work through Saturn is ready actually to get rooted here, because now something that was held in that sort of frozen state is ready to flow, but there's a need to get recalibrated. And if you look at Laguz, you being Laguz, at the center point of that waterway, that spiral of creation where those waters are churning, it kind of makes the symbolism of the center of a bow. And what creates the bow? The knot in the middle. So it makes me feel like there's something that's bound up in us, something that's latent in us that only we can unravel, perhaps by grokking a bit of May's face and journeying to the center of our identity. There's something here. Bottom of the deck. And this is what provides the water that is needed, that will nurture the growth. It's been the elephant in the room all along. And I think of the elephant, it makes me think of Ganesh. And Ganesh clears the obstacles. It's like, yeah, Ganesh is ready to show you where the source of nourishment is. It's been within you all along. Something that's kept you bound up, tied in knots, that's kept you in this place of constriction, that doesn't allow you to move into the expansion. See, there's those antlers there, the message coming through of that stag energy being activated when you do master the hunt. But see, you have to reveal a part of you that has been held within for too long. It needs to be unleashed, so it can be the force that it is, the directive force that it is, and then the way through is found. then the way through is found to the north node. And where the path has been a little fractured, it can come back into alignment. Now, the second rune that was here on this page with Laguz is Jera. And Jera does symbolize the harvest. Jera also talks about divine timing. It talks about patience. It also guarantees that there will be reward for the hard work that has been done. The work, the sacrifice, the toil of the Holy Grail, it hasn't been for nothing. It hasn't been for nothing. It's what secures the field for you where your dreams can grow. And it also symbolizes the passage of time, a full year, a full turning of the wheel. There's movement that's implied with Jera, much like there's movement implied with the energy of riddle, which brings in the symbolism of the horse and the endurance, the power, the momentum, the movement that's needed to get where we're going. And I just think it's so fascinating, right? Because we entered the year of the fire horse. And also, it's been a full year since that download came in, since the Pisces download came in. So here's Jera. Harvest is already here. And there's something that's going to be initiated with that new moon in Pisces that is our fertile garden under the full moon. But will we look at what we have yielded there, and will we feel it's not enough? Will we not recognize it for the harvest that it is, because we have become gluttonous in our desire? There's something here that does require tempering, because there's richness here. There's enough here that it is a feast, and that's what needs to be seen. And this is quite a test of mastery for the adept seeker. So you may think you've transcended. You may think you've learned a lot, and certainly you have, but there's more to learn here. You haven't headed into this territory yet. It's a very powerful initiatory gateway. All right, let's dive into it. I know 22:44 on the clock. Yes, definitely look for your senses to start to pick up points of interest. That's how it's being delivered here. Things that are calling you to look into that a little deeper, you know? Don't brush it off. There's something to discover there. Yeah, don't brush it off. Don't brush it off. That really reminds me of the world tree. To me, this is like speaking of both ancestral energy coming through really strong. I do feel like there's a lot of that too. There's a lot of wisdom that we can glean through understanding the past. There's a lot of magic and empowerment that we can grok from that and carry forward with us as medicine for the road ahead. There's a lot we can learn there. There's a lot we need from times of the past that secures the future. And sometimes it's said that we are the manifestation of the dreams that our ancestors were never able to fulfill. And there may be a little bit of that coming on through too, especially as we deal with the dichotomous energy of the vision of the world tree and how deep its roots are and how symbolic it is of that which is everlasting. Even as on the world stage, we're looking at the threat of destruction. And yet, everything is fine. There is a balance here because there's something that's coming in to blow the mind, to awaken the consciousness in a way it's never been stirred before. And this is what's going to provide the new birthing point. Something can be transformed from the past. There is magic that can be retrieved there. It can bring sustenance back to the people. It can bring renewal to the land. It can reconnect us with the earth and what's of value. There's something there that can root us in more simplicity where things have become quite complex. And there's also communion here. There's communication coming in here, but the communication is not coming in the typical ways. There's light beings coming in. For some of you, you're really feeling connected with the nature spirits at this time, and the earth is really calling for you to commune there. Because then you'll really understand what is worth warding, what's worth securing. It will also put you in connection with those light building forces that want to work through you. But you are birthing something new, and out of the past rises the destiny, the North Node, the Stone of Destiny. It's really powerful. It reminds me of that skull of infinite possibilities that came in on the fixed sign read as well. And it was coming in with the full moon. So I'm not sure what the full moon is that will be the culmination point of the new moon cycle kicked off by Pisces. But there's probably something there that really does awaken in us the realization that we have secured infinite possibilities if we play our cards right. Okay, so it is up to us to untie the knot. We have to understand where the energy, where the tension needs to be released, where something has been bound up. What is the source? Because it releases the seed of the harvest. It does feel like it's something that has been nurtured for too long. Something maybe that has been draining our energy, draining our reserves for too long. We've been feeding our focus in this direction for too long. But we need to get back to sort of that beginner's mind and release the complication, and again, have an electric transformation, something that packs a little punch. There's sort of an awakening moment coming through here, and it does remind me of like a moment of Satori, you know, where suddenly you have the answer, you understand where you need to unravel this knot, but it does inspire laughter. And perhaps that's why the Joker energy keeps coming through. Because I think there's something about this that once you discover what needs to be unraveled here, suddenly you're not tied up anymore. You don't feel held back. And you're just surfing the waves. You're riding the waterway. There's no complication here at all. It's very interesting to me, this energy. And I'm so glad that this is coming through, because there's been so much heaviness coming in. It's been really challenging for me to tap into it. And I'm all for facing things squarely. And I don't pull any punches. And if we need to look at heavy stuff, we will. But it does burn me out after a while, man. Because there's only so much that can be done from that place, that space of focus. You know, eventually you have to figure out like, okay, so this is the nature of what's being contended with here. What next? You know, how do I need to show up and greet this? What do I need to do? All right, so I think we're going to start to get some clues about this over the next 72 hours. Okay. And ironically, those next 72 hours will really have us edging up close to that Pisces new moon, the point where the wheel turns. And often Jera is connected to the symbolism of the wheel. So it's very fascinating to me how it all kind of ties together. And I know sometimes it may seem a little odd the way I break down everything on a numerological level, but I mean, all of creation is mathematics, so it's really not so out there if you think about it. The answers are all coded around us. It's very meaningful when those numerical sequences come through. They are giving you a little clue about the construction of the nature of reality around you. And if you understand the formula, then you also know how to solve it. You know what I mean? So I don't know, maybe there's something around that too coming through. All right, let's get around the Arcane BS deck here, because I think I've waxed on long enough here. Bottom of the deck. Ooh, yeah. Now the creative juices are flowing. Now the brain is turned on. Where you have felt befuddled, or where you were sort of like tied up in knots, in circuitous thinking here, something is disrupting that circuit. There's something firing off here. What's firing off here is an awakening moment. It turns the mind on. It turns the mind on in a different way, though, more abstract way, not so much intellectualizing everything to death, but more exploratory, exploring different states of consciousness that haven't been entered into before, perhaps even entering into conversation with beings you've never entered into conversation with before. Could be light beings, could be angelic forces. And that's the thing with angels. People tend to have very much like fairy. It's really similar, actually. People often look at angels as being these sort of pure, gentle, harmonious type forces that have a lot of power, but they see them more that way. And there's actually quite a steely edge to working with the angelic realm. And those who've worked with the angelic realm know what I'm talking about. The angels will hand you your ass. They will. They'll hand you your ass to teach you a lesson. They will. They do deliver tough medicine where it's needed. They can bring it on real thick and fast. As sometimes it can feel like it is too much. And people say, you know, that you can say, oh, you know, back off, it's too much for me. But what your idea of too much is not enough sometimes when it comes to light beings. So, you know, we don't necessarily have as much power in those realms as we would like to. See, so there's something about that coming in with that Sabian symbol of just recognizing, you know, the position you hold, and also recognizing that you do have a feast here. You're aligned with these forces. They're providing you protection. They're providing you warding. They're making sure that you get your timeline aligned with the right track so you don't miss the mark. So you do make that important juncture point and you do step into your destiny. You do achieve the stone of destiny, and all that you've toiled for hasn't been for naught. 3311 when I brought that in. See, something is coming in here, but it's coming in with the aid of helpful forces. So don't try to tell them how to do their job. It's like there needs to be an opening up to the mystery a little bit, and to allow yourself to be guided by these forces, because they're showing you something that you need to see. They're showing you how to untie the knot, because sure, you could cut through it. You could cut through it in your haste, in your greed to have it here now, that thing that you've been searching for, that thing that you desire that also desires you. But if you do that, you're coming more from a place of acquisition. You're coming more from a place of desire than you are mastery. And so you get kind of a mixed bag of results. So just be open. Be open, and you will see the way through. It's almost like these beings of light are providing the headlights for you so you can see the road up ahead. They're helping you draw down the water you need, this miraculous chalice, so the coffers of your heart can finally fill, and what's been bound up can dissolve, and then there can be the flow that's needed to find the way through. But do you see? You have to be completely open to this. You cannot be constricted at all. It's interesting because I'm looking at the body, the way the body is formed, and it almost looks like Gabo, another rune, a rune that is about gifts. But when we look at Gabo, again, it's not like the acquisition of material abundance, although that can stem from Gabo. One and the other are two of the same. It's just like a different side of the coin, really. There's not really a separation of that energy, because anything you're experiencing outside there, it's an inner recognition first, right? But the Gabo symbol is what is at the crossroads in that Joker of fire that came in for us. X marks the spot. X marks the spot. You're the knot. I really feel that this is what it is. And maybe there's something that relates back to a year ago, around this time. And we can also take it back to the harvest time, 2024. Maybe this knot's been in place for a long time, but maybe there was something that came back to the surface in spring of last year that highlighted this, that wasn't seen, that if you allow yourself to be led by the light that is building to illuminate the way forward, you'll be led there intuitively, instinctually, through the impulses that rise up within you. But it does require you kind of like abandon old formulaic ways of figuring something out. You have to be open to a new way of untying this knot. You're heading way out there with the space stuff. And that is the thing about initiation. The old form comes to pass. And it's sort of like we've been in this state of suspended animation, wondering, well, when is it going to be here? And it's kind of funny because it's been here all along, because you're the knot. And that's what you need to untie. And you can only understand that by spiraling into yourself. It's really interesting energy. Okay, let me get another round here, see what's coming on through. We're going to get some more details to just flush out this message here. Yes, wow. Okay. Well, it almost fell away. Isn't this interesting? It almost fell away. It almost fell away. King Fancy's kingdom almost fell away. But perhaps there is a way it can be saved. Looks like maybe King Fancy is getting a different view from lying on his back, not resting on the backs of others. See, again, this is sort of like the greed energy, right? What comes behind it? The toilet angel. See, there's something here that does need to be transmuted. There's something here that unravels this sort of dichotomous way of analyzing a situation, or feeling very impassioned by a situation to the extent where it makes the emotions so stirred up that everything becomes very unclear, very muddy. The waters become cloudy, you know? There's something here that only when it rests and it gets a different view, perhaps through having a little bit of a humbling moment, or recognizing the way that we haven't really appreciated the harvest that is already here, that can help us transmute this energy and find the way through that leads to something that can be secured. Do you see? It's like the water comes in through being open. Through being open, the miraculous chalice comes in and it cleanses us. It opens up the waterway. And as it does, it awakens the gifts we hold within us that are meant to be shared externally. And they are the thing that is the seed that we sow into our field. It is the thing that's nurtured through our care, our time, our energy. And we do so because we desire this. We desire this because it's born from the fulfilled place within us. And once we are able to receive this, it can go through the transmutation state. You see, we have the creative force of chaos there that's ready to get rooted. This is when something is ready to be materialized, you see? This is how the energy gets rooted. It's only through transmuting the old perspective that had us in danger of losing the keys to our kingdom that the kingdom is recovered. Owl medicine coming through strongly too. So there is magic at work here. There is deception at work as well. Ways that we've deceived ourselves. Maybe ways that we've deceived ourselves by not recognizing what we already hold that is the source of our suffering. But something is ready to transmute here. And this is also understanding that we're now crowned by something higher. And so we're ready to release what divided us from so much more. It's like in the desire to acquire something, we actually compromised ourselves in such a way that we settled for so much less. That's how it's coming through. See, we've been in this standoff here, facing off with the destructive forces that we've identified as, either some villain in our life or some oppressive force in society, or the nature of reality that we're moving through where there is war. It's in our face. But this is also a transformation point. And even with everything that's being perpetuated around the war with media, and certainly here in the States, you're not getting the real story, the real deal. So this is really when the roots are facing off with the so-called advancement of society and everything we've been told that it looks like this. We've identified it in a certain way because of what's been sold to us, what's been marketed to us. And there's a point here where we're recognizing something of great power, blessing, fertility, creativity that we hold right now. And it's something that can continue to grow the more we bring it up into the light instead of keeping it in our root cellar. There's a gift that's being retrieved here, but it's not found through securing something outside of you. It will be the thing that leads you into an abundant cycle in your material reality, but it's not here yet. Sometimes people could think, well, I should have this. I'm a good person. I've done this. I've done that. But remember that message that comes through? The success of the mage in mastering the material plane is not just measured by them being able to secure abundance, but in being able to do so without becoming a slave to greed. So this is a building block of how to actually move into the flow of abundance. You have to first recognize the way that something has already been secured for you. It just may not look like what you thought it was going to look like. You may have had a different idea about what was your share. And yet being of the world and being a nobody is the path to mastery for the adept seeker. You don't recognize how much you've already transformed. You don't recognize the gift that it is. You don't recognize that if you did value that and you acknowledge that, that something within you would suddenly unravel, and all these gifts that you hold right now that are the very thing that creates the reality you desire would instantly be activated. You instantly be initiated into actually being able to wield this power, work with this power. You're not going to find it out there. And so there's this sense of warding. It's like protection that's being created around you. So you're not getting distracted by the dark forces. You're not getting distracted by those things that would pull you into the fear space, that would pull you into a place of confusion. So you don't buy into the psyops. Instead, you come into yourself, into the present moment, and you find that when you open yourself to the mystery and to being led, suddenly you find, under the light of that new moon, as it waxes and leads up to the following full moon that will come, that you're already in a fertile garden. It's already here. It's already here. It's already here. Okay, let me do a cut of the deck here. See what we got. Look, and there's the knot. There's the knot. And it comes through self-knowledge. Isn't it funny? He kind of looks like a primate. Notice that? So it's like getting back to the beginning point. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? You know? Well, of course, the egg came first. The egg came first. You have self-knowledge. Self-knowledge that maybe is found by unraveling the knot of everything you think you know. Be willing to be nobody. Nobody who has the answers. Nobody who knows nothing. And once you do that, then you'll discover you do hold what you seek in your hand. It's wanted you to this whole time. It's wanted you to acknowledge it because you already have it. It's already here. You're not hung up anywhere. Remember, the Hanged Man is all about a shift in perspective. That's all it is. One shift of perspective and you realize, whoa, I'm in the garden. I'm in the garden. All these delights are here. Everything I've been seeking is already found. There's one of these moments. And I know it sounds out there, but if you open yourself to the experience, you're going to see it. The seed of your harvest, you're going to recognize. You already have it. You already hold it. And once you see it, you'll stop waiting. You'll stop waiting for divine timing and you'll realize, wow, I'm right on time. I'm right on time. I love how that came through. What's on the other side? The fetch is saying, you see? You've been kind of like biting the hand that feeds you. You've already been fed exactly what you need. You just needed to retrieve the key. And that's funny because you did receive this key, you see? You did. And you obviously took some kind of step that brought about a transformation because, I mean, it did. It did earn you the heart key, right? You already got this key. You're already free. You already balanced something out. And you keep asking when. When is it here? When is it coming? It's already here. You already got it. But see, you got that heart key, right? You need to use that key to open the space within yourself to recognize it. There's something that's going to happen here that's going to awaken you to a potential you already hold. A gift you already hold, a magic you already hold, the dream that you already hold. It's just waiting on you. It's just waiting on you. That's how it's coming through. Really wild. What a confirmation of the messages, man. Let's see elementally what's coming through here. I got to do one round of these just because it's been so interesting. Yeah, look at that. Angels on the outfield, bringing in the protection, the beings of light, and like, Godspeed, you got this, man. You're ready to go through the transformation point. You're ready to face the fire test of truth and come out the other side transformed. This is the rebirth of Venus. It is the rebirth of love and beauty and the discovery of what is worth fighting for. And when I say fight, I don't mean struggle and strife. I mean standing up for something and putting your back into it. You know what I mean? Not being under the machine, not letting the machine roll over you, not being a slave to the toil and the grime and the grit and the oil of the Holy Grail, but by actually getting a different perspective that puts you at the helm of your life. And you enter the waterway and in search of adventure that takes you on a journey of true mastery through recognizing that you don't know who you are becoming yet. And that's part of the empowerment, because as long as you don't know who you are becoming yet, you have infinite possibility. You may limit yourself, so don't fret not having all the answers. Perhaps your horizons are much broader than you anticipate at this point in time. Okay, bottom of the deck, the angels come out again. I think we're getting the message right here. Perhaps you're about to earn your wings. Maybe you're about to emerge from that chrysalis state and ready to enter that place of transformation, moving into more lightness, levity. We've been having the butterfly medicine come in quite frequently recently too. Butterfly medicine happens in stages of transformation, and it looks like we're at the point where we're ready to leave the cocoon. Butterfly medicine also works with colors, so pay attention to the colors that are highlighted in your environment over the next 72 hours. They may give you a clue about what chakra center has a knot in it that needs to be unraveled by you. Can help you hone into your light body, your energy body, where maybe some of this work needs to be done. Okay, elementally, what's coming through here the next 72 hours for the collective? Okay, something in reverse. Ooh, it's not death, it's rebirth. Okay, I like this. You may have thought, time was up. Maybe not so. You just needed to know the roots. You needed to know the roots. See, the Joker's sky is saying, you're close. You're close. You're close, mage. It will be time to raise the wand of transformation soon. Soon you will go through that doorway and never come out the other side quite like you've been before. Fire daughter. The emotions are going through a transformation. There's transformational experiences coming in through the intuition. The body is also heating up. Sometimes that can happen when there is Kundalini activation. You can feel a lot of heat rising in the body. Something is getting lit up in you. It is the heart fire. It is coming from the feminine, so it does feel like it's happening on a creative level, on an emotional level, on an intuitive level, and it's bringing about receptivity, and it's preparing to root the true treasure in material reality. It's gained by a lightness of being, though, that uplifts the consciousness to be able to see above what's been cloudy and confused. There's something that's already stabilized here, and here comes Raven, bringing in the magic and the message of the sun. Yes, there is something a little tricky here. You may have to go about it in an unconventional means or a way that other people would not understand. And yet there is justice here because it brings sustenance, something that secures happiness here. Message coming in from the sky, brother sky. So we have brother sky, fire daughter. The air feeds the fire. The air is the avenue of expression. So see, this is the part of the manifestation process where the avenue is already here. There's something that's already been charged to you. There's some inspiration you already have. It is ready to be rooted. It is ready to be rooted. But it does require the acknowledgement of the truth, going through the transformation. Going through the transformation requires that we unravel this knot that activates our gifts. And then once that happens, the waterway is automatically found. There's no longer the dams in the river. There's free flow. Okay. One more round here. This is also rising above the South Node energy. It is coming in with the signature of the Hermit. And it is a solo journey. You see, this isn't something you can get the answer to from anybody outside of yourself. What I'm sharing with you, it's merely a prompt that will awaken parts of your consciousness, your own interpretations, and the way you decipher what rolls out over the next 72 hours and how it guides you. This is a solo journey to the top of this mountain. Only you can go there. Only then will you see your sun. What is your source of sustenance? See, it comes in like a great tidal wave of change. Tidal wave medicine's a wake-up call. You've been sort of in survival mode. You've just been keeping it moving, keeping it moving, keeping it moving, wondering when you were going to find your path to get you where you need to go. Well, the path's been in you all along. It's going to rise up through you, and it's going to merge with this tidal wave of change, this great awakening moment that's coming to you. And that's when you got the fire merging with the water, and that molten lava, when it hits the water, when it hits the sea, it forms new topography. It forms the path before you. So this is the alchemical moment. Something is coming through that you're about to root, but it's coming through the ground of your being. And it resolves what was fractured with your timeline and gets you correctly aligned with your North Node. See, it's all about perspective here. You think this is south. It's not. See, here's the top of the mountain. Here's the clouds below. You got to look at it like this. It's a tower of power that rises up through you, that lets you know where your sun is to be found. It's all perspective. It's the way you look at it. Ooh, and that just fell in my lap with that. Also coming in with 9 of sky, double nines, 18, the moon. So see, this is something that is discovered in the lunar cycle, initiated with the Pisces new moon, but there's clues coming through. And then we have the water that we need to nurture the new growth. With Sister Earth, the creative flow can come through and bring what's needed to root the dream in material reality. You enter the gateway. And there's the activation of the gifts with the Joker of Fire. Wild. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. I'm surprised that the Joker of Water still didn't come through, but perhaps it's because we have not unraveled the knot. Maybe it will come through once we resolve that. All I know is we are securing the stone of destiny here. All right, we are being tempered, forged in the fire. It's about working our magic wisely, holding the power in a balanced way. These treasures, they're not meant to be hoarded. They're meant to serve the many. There's a gift being activated within you. There's something coming through you. You are meant to do this. because of the way it doesn't just pour into you, it pours into others too. It's aligned with your purpose. It's actually really beautiful. There's a lot of clarity coming in for you, and you will be impenetrable like the diamond. You have protection because you're getting clear. You're getting clear in your light body, and you're working with light beings. Got angels on the outfield. All right, let's get a point of focus here. Over the next 72 hours, I'm going to pull out the oracles. Working with the Halloween Oracle, Sacred Rebels Oracle. And do I got another one in here? I think it might just be those two. I took out the White Light Oracle. I separated that from these. Oh, Lacey. Hold up, wait a minute. Don't be so quick to rush forward in pursuit of something. That full moon will come. It will show you what you've needed to see all along. Maybe something that's actually been with you since winter and you've just been sitting on it here. But there's a wisdom. There's a wisdom in pausing for a moment here. There's nowhere to rush to. Let the awakening moment come with the tower. It's a tower of power. It's your vehicle forward. What you want wants you. This is ready to spiral into creation. So we got a lot of confirmation points coming through the read that we did last night for the fixed energy alchemy. If you haven't checked that out, you should drop in with it. It's for everybody. It's for the whole collective, okay? There are key points that do get highlighted, of course, for the fixed signs. But it is for everybody. Those reads are for everybody. There's a reason why I started to introduce them in that way. I really want to help people feel supported in working with the different elemental expressions, because that's what's going to empower you to be the creator of your world. It's what's going to help you feel really supported in your growth, and to be able to feel like you do get to exercise the power that's been invested in you in your life to create transformation and change that weaves the kind of reality you want to see in the world. And to do so in a balanced way, not in a destructive way. Okay, let's see. What should our focus be over the next 72 hours? What should our focus be over the next 72 hours to begin to kind of like hone in on this knot where we need to do this dissolving work? Give us a little clue, Spirit. Give us a little clue as we start to do this work. Bottom of the deck. Diving for light, coming in with the energy of justice. And we got the seahorses there. So this is the avenue preparing to rise up through you. You see, this is a moment of hermetic power where the masculine, the feminine, the active, the receptive forces, the creative inspiration, and the avenue for outward material expression is being forged through you. How? By diving for the light. You're diving deep within yourself. It's found within you before it's found without. Also, seahorse is really connected to the hippocampus within the body. So there's this piece that's been coming in about working with the nervous system, working with the glands of the body, working with that whole chain of synergy to get the energy flow going. There's such an interconnectedness with your physical body, what's going on emotionally, what's going on materially, also what is going on spiritually, energetically. Your body can unravel a lot for you. So I am really sticking with that message that came in last night, because I feel it's very important at this time to understand, where are you holding tension in your body? There's a need for this to dissolve so you can really enter this flow and open up to the experience that wants to come in for you. You don't want to be stuck in kind of bound places in your body that are tied up in samskaras, psychic wounds, karmic wounds, past experiences, past traumas, you know. There's something that does need to be cleansed here so you can open up to these gifts. There can be certain stories, maybe they get activated with these gifts that come through that could cause you to enter into a place of fear. But do you see, here's the water coming through. We have the wand. We have the wand, and soon we will have the cauldron that will be filled with the water. This is synergy and healing. This is balance. This is the Ace of Pentacles, the opportunity, the seed coming through you to stir that pot, to weave into being the start of a new cycle of creation in your life, a new manifestation. And the cauldron of Dagda, the magic of the cauldron of Dagda is that it's inexhaustible. It's an inexhaustible source of nourishment. It's an inexhaustible source of abundance. There's more than enough. There's more than enough. There is a feast here. There is more than enough. It's a feast for you. It's a feast for many. But this is getting ready to rise up through you. So I love to see this. You are getting the cauldron of Dagda here. And you're getting aligned with the stone of destiny. And look, it brings Barnbrock, sweetness and synergy. The harvest that is protected. It is secured. It's already here. It's already here. It's like one of those things that as soon as you recognize it, it multiplies. It multiplies into infinite possibilities. All of a sudden you have more than you ever imagined you have. It's this kind of realization. And I know it may sound abstract or maybe fantastical as I'm expressing it right now, but I'm telling you, this is coming. Ooh, I didn't even notice that fell away onto the floor when I was working with the arcane BS. Looks like we've ditched the meaningless garbage. Oh, I like this. What's down here? Ooh, yeah, see? We got to die for the light. Look, we got to die for the light. So we'll know how to defend what's worthwhile to the end. It's a legacy of light that's been passed down to us. You already hold it. It's the vehicle forward. But it's hanging out in the roots. This is why you got to know your roots. And look, there's even the cosmic egg of potential there. See, whatever you receive here, this gift that gets activated, this is what you need to protect. It's also the thing that makes you feel like anything that you suffered, you endured, all the hard work, it was worth it. This is worth defending. Worth defending. And it is the vehicle forward. And I do believe that, we are experiencing some blessing energy coming through Jupiter. Jupiter in the house of Cancer here. But see, this is something that's been passed on generationally. This is also something that you were born into. It's your legacy. Nobody can take it from you. There's no need to have greed with it. Nobody can take it from you. Nobody can present a bad cover version of this gift that you hold. Like, it's not possible. It's in you. It's in your bloodline. It's been here. It may be something that you were aware of as a child. And now it's being awakened again through these beings of light that are working with you. So you can birth it into being. Working with the mother aspect here, the father aspect. Very interesting. This is what you haven't seen. You haven't seen it because you've been holding on to too much meaningless garbage. So maybe something's going to arise that's going to make you realize how you have been investing too much time, energy in meaningless garbage. You chuck that away and all of a sudden you start to get curious about looking in a different area. And that's how this awakens in you, because you're not distracted by the meaningless garbage anymore. Let me do a cut the deck and see what we find. This is the culmination point, coming in with the energy of the world. This is where something does get rooted. What was out there hanging out in the ether is ready to come through and be rooted in material reality. There are those 3 cosmic eggs of creation. You've been crowned with this. It's been with you all along. All those prayers you've sent up, you've been holding this all along. It's already been charged to you. It's something that's woven in your DNA. It's just ready to be activated. That's all. It's ready to spiral into creation now. It's ready to be fixed. It's ready to go through that final stage of alchemy where what's initiated here will be sustained so it can be rooted on earth. Beyond the mind, the heart beats. The heart is really a key here. And there is some initiation that you are passing, because we see the mark of the kungu there on Ajna, which is given in recognition of well done. There is something that you have successfully integrated here, and it came in at 1:11:20 on the clock. So this is a test. Are you able to really wield this power wisely? Do you know how to hold this power? Do you know where this power is to be found? Remember that came through on a download not too long ago. Can you identify true magic? I think you're passing this test and you're making it through the initiatory gateway, and you're being acknowledged through the activation of these cosmic eggs of creation, this gift. And there's signs of this. There's signs of this coming through for the next 72 hours. It's the shock of the new, and it does align you with your purpose. You may even have a very important message to share, or something creative that needs to be birthed through you. But whatever this is, it may even just be a truth you need to speak. A truth you need to speak, even though your knees may buckle, even though you may be shaking in your boots. A truth you need to speak, and your voice carries, and it sends out a ripple effect. It opens your road. It moves you out of indecision, and you have all the seeds you need to grow your field of dreams. Really beautiful energy here. Powerful. Ooh, I'm excited. All right, I think that I want to go ahead and get some numbers and some messages for some signposts and synchronicities, and see what comes through. And I think I have been just like keeping the number dice in here. I'm pretty certain. Yep. Ooh, coming out with lucky number 7. Lucky number 7. We also got 6 here. We got life path 3, life path 4, life path 6. Moving forward in a very unexpected way. First, we got to dive for the light to bring it on through to activate the vision. Also, once the vision's activated and we move out of that place of indecision, which really is about moving from that reference point of looking for the answer outside of ourselves to understand that we already have it, it's already here. That moves us into the energy of the Chariot, but I love how it comes in because it comes in with the energy of the Empress and the Emperor here, merging forces. So this is really beautiful. Tarot archetypes, we do have the Emperor, Aries energy, the Empress, Libra, Taurus energy. We have the Lovers or the Choice, Gemini energy. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Sagittarian energy also comes in with the fixed sign energies, Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo. We have the Hermit, Virgo. We also have the Chariot, Cancer. We have Death, Scorpio. But it must be remembered, with death comes rebirth. The cycle continues. It begins again. And this is the renewal energy. This is the transformation point. Other signs that might be at play in the current situation: Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Libra, Virgo, okay, interesting. All right, let's see. Oh, I didn't see this dice over here. We also got the High Priestess energy here. And on that side, we have the Magician. So interesting. It's like Emperor to Empress. High Priestess to Magician. So Aquarian energy, Capricorn energy. Okay. Very, very interesting. It's almost like the Empress needs to be discovered, though. You know, I'm kind of seeing it as the deep dive of the High Priestess to retrieve the light that brings the initiation point of the Mage, the Magician. And that is when the Empress rises, the Empress stirs. Rebirth of Venus energy. And so now let me look at this through this lens here, because this brings some new energies into the mix. I didn't see that. So see, this is something that's not seen. Not seen. Not seen. And it comes in with 16, the Tower. Okay, so Scorpio energy, Aquarian energy, Aries energy. Right, definitely an awakening moment here. Okay, let's see what else we got coming in here in terms of messages. I got a name coming through. I got the name Sam coming through. I heard Sam, I am. Okay. I also got the name Pat, Patricia coming through. These could be people of interest. This could be your name. I also feel like you're going to get a pat on the back here, sort of like well done, an acknowledgement coming through. Something may have felt like it was delayed, but see, you're going to recognize it's coming in right on time. You weren't ready to recognize this gift that you held yet. You weren't ready to activate it. You had to go through a transformation before you were ready to hold this potential. Coming through with the name Mia. Okay. And interesting, as I said, Mia, the die turned to a D and it became mid. So it's something like something you were aiming for before was really just kind of like a mid experience. This is something that gives you quite a different perspective on what's possible for you. It's like you weren't activating your full potential here. You'll be glad that you missed the opportunity, or it missed your awareness back there when you see what target you're able to hit now. That's how it's coming through. Okay. I also got Jai coming through, J-A-I, which means victory, okay? So there are forces that are supporting you in getting this right. Forget about turning it up to 10. You're about to take it to the next level. It goes to 11, okay? It goes to 11, and I just heard 7, 11, seventh heaven, okay? There's There's something here. Baby, you send me. That's what I just heard. You're about to elevate. The energy is uplifting. We do have Gabo here. X marks the spot. Okay, so these are gifts that are being activated. And I got the name Elle, Ellie, Ellen, Ella. I heard Fitzgerald too. It made me think of Ella Fitzgerald. Somebody may like to listen to Ella Fitzgerald. Could be the last name Fitzgerald. Somebody may have the nickname Fritz. I got Pip. It's sort of like you were playing a much smaller role in the game of life. From your old vantage point, you'll understand this when you see what gets awakened here. Yeah, you're definitely breaking down the boxes. You're getting a different perspective of what's possible for you. So do pay attention, because it would be a shame if you miss this golden opportunity. It's what you've been waiting for, and it's ripe for the picking. It's ripe for the picking. That's what I got. Don't let this fruit spoil on the vine, right? It's ready to be plucked. I really feel that very strongly. I also got the energy of Ma'at coming through. So this is cosmic law and order. This is a balance, a justice that's ready to be activated now. So pay attention. All right. I got sister energy too. So there may be something about connecting with a sister that you haven't dropped in with for a while that's important. It could be like an activating point. That's coming in with Shan, Shane, Sean, Shauna, Shayna, Dana. You're going to find that a lot happens in the nighttime hours. This is when you are going to be aware of these light beings that are working with you. It's also when you're going to be more sensitive energetically. So you might want to devote a little time to be able to drop in and just sort of like feel out where you may feel the energy is bound up within you. And I have Anna coming through with that. I just heard something about the Santa Ana winds, okay? Maybe the Santa Ana winds are picking up. Hopefully there's not any fire in correlation with that, okay? Because that could be troublesome. I got the name Stephanie coming in relation to this. That may mean something very specific to a person. I've got the name Mel, Melanie, Melania. Okay, interesting. There might be some kind of news coming through in relation to Melania. Might be hearing something, some kind of a announcement made, a little macrocosmic stuff coming on through. And it really is coming through as her. I'm not seeing Donald out here, so it feels like she's either the mouthpiece for this or it specifically concerns her. Okay. Anything else? I got the alpines coming in again, Swiss alpines. So there's definitely something that's going on in that sector of the world. Some point of interest there, something to focus on. I know there's a lot that's going on there with like offshore banking and the whole global economy system. I also know that Fergie headed over to Switzerland to check herself into a mental health facility. But there's more there. There's more there, and that really goes back to the old portal report that I brought in. I got axe coming in here, and it makes me think of that saying about the tree that was cut down and the forest kind of responding in relation to why they didn't, do anything. Because we thought they were one of us, There's something about that. So somebody may be cut down or taken out of power by somebody that they felt like a camaraderie with or a loyalty to or thought was loyal to them. And they actually could use that familiarity to bring this downfall. Ooh, I don't know. I'm kind of picking up like a macrocosmic energy around that. I got Hezbollah coming in here. All right, now I'm starting to tap into all that macrocosmic stuff that I was hoping we could kind of override this time around, but it wants to come in, so go ahead and let it come through. There must be a reason why it's coming on through. I also got missing in action, so there could be something about a soldier or troops missing in action, something coming in relation to this. Getting something of perhaps like a hostage situation too. Okay. Got like lieutenant energy around this. So I got a little bit of that worldwide boiling point, reaching a fever pitch here. More of that stuff kind of filtering in here. Let me see if there's anything else that's really wanting to be highlighted here. I got true north. Okay. So I do know that there is something that's being activated here that aligns us with our north node, with our true north. And it's really important for us to stay fixated with this, focused on this. It's good to be aware. It is. It's good to be aware of what's going on in the world. More so you can identify what is like propaganda, what is just being perpetuated by the spin doctors. And so you can truly have an informed lay of the land that does require you staying connected, to your own truth and your own soul's essence and your own ability to read the room and understand what's really rolling out here. But I think it is very important for us to, at this time, make sure that we're putting the majority of our focus on really understanding the power that we hold and where we can start making the time that we have a thing of value, and that we use that time to set the power that we do hold in motion in transformational ways in our own lives. And as we are inspired and as we are led, because I do feel like that's how things will unfold, that as we personally awaken, as we start to transform ourselves and our own lives and our own environments, and our own relationships, we will begin to expand further into that energy. It will be a momentum that guides us into taking the next steps. I mean, people always wonder, well, how are we going to bring about the age of Aquarius? Because it feels like such a lofty objective, especially when it seems like we have the chips stacked against us. But we really need to understand that the only thing we need to do is continue to kind of like build that fire of transformation and build that light. And as more light gets, you know, ignited here through us having our own little torch we hold, and then we use that fire to inspire and help light the torch of others, the momentum is a thing that kind of takes care of itself. And you grow into that energy. It teaches you along the way how to continue to move into further expansion. And we know with the Sabian symbol coming in with the new moon in Pisces, it is going to be about really connecting with those light forces. They are there to help us with this transition. We're not expected to have all the answers. So the more we can kind of open up to it and let the old world view die off, there's an opportunity to bring reinvigoration, but it has to start with us first. I do have Tennessee coming through as a point of interest over these next 72 hours, so I don't know if there's some kind of like important news that's breaking out of that area. I also got Pennsylvania coming in. Pennsylvania's been a hot point for a while now. Texas coming on through too. Something happening in LA, okay? And I got those Santa Ana winds, so I'm hoping there's not like something coming through. With that, I got lie. So something's a lie, okay? There's deception, whatever that is, okay? I mean, if there are fires coming in, there's some kind of deception around that, maybe around who started the fire. It could be something that's coming through symbolically, but it, just as I'm saying that, I got IRL, in real life, okay? So this could be some story around fire that is, there's details being omitted there, okay? There's also something coming through about Social Security benefits. Some changes in relation to this. Okay. And I got Hawaii coming in. All right. That's what I got. 1:33 on the clock. Pay attention. Lots of communication coming in. Lots of helpful clues. Lots of helpful people. Lots of helpful forces. And lots of helpful gifts and empowerments you already hold that are about to be activated, that are more than enough for you to have a proper feast, to have a proper harvest here. And it just requires you using your fire and using your water. Once you unbind that place inside of you that is holding in, reining in this energy, this seed of potential that needs to be activated, as soon as you bring that through, you're going to find that the flow really starts to take over, and you'll be led. You'll be led. You won't need to worry about where am I going. The steps you need to take, the actions that you need to take, they are going to be very evident, and you'll find the way through. You'll find the way through. All right. Let's all find the way through. I want to see all of us make it, man. Godspeed, collective.